So I'm just going to share my screen and hopefully cool. So brilliant. So can everybody see that? Can everybody see the slides? Fantastic. And the thing I'd say is lots of us by now know Zoom etiquette. It's great that you can keep your mics off mute, keep your mics on mute, except if you're talking. I will warn you, I'm surrounded by lots of seagulls at the moment. It is a bit like a Hitchcock film outside my house with seagulls going absolutely everywhere. So if there's lots of noise, I'm sorry, it is the seagulls. If you know, it's really nice normally, what's normal these days? But in pre-COVID times, I sat in the Discovery office and I used to talk to lots of volunteers and stuff and be surrounded by lots of wonderful volunteers. I'm now sat in the house and have been for 18 months. So as a shy, retiring, introverted kind of person, which is completely not who I am, I'm really missing human contact. So it's lovely to see some faces. So if you want to turn your mic on and have a chat with us, if you want to turn your cameras on and show people your faces, that's really nice, but don't feel like you have to. It's all completely voluntary. So just to say, this session will take about 60 minutes. Do use the chat box to engage, or just indicate and use, you know, the icons I think we've all got used to using to say a little bit about yourself, ask any questions, and at any point, you know, especially one of the things about today is 2 or 3 of the current project coordinators pick their brains. This is what this is all about, is finding out a bit about leadership, finding out about, you know, how they've learned to be a leader, what's it giving them, what they enjoyed about it, you know, come and talk to them about the whole different roles. So, kind of introductions. The 4 of us have introduced ourselves, but we thought it'd be really nice for you to say, you know, who you are. Have you done any volunteering with Discovery before? What course are you studying? But also, is there any particular leadership role that you're interested in Discovery, or have you just come along to find out a little bit more? So I don't know if people want to put that in the chat. Just introduce themselves. It's just a really nice way of kind of, you might be volunteering with some of these people for the next year, so it's nice to get to know those people.
So Ruby has just finished their final year of law, and they're going to do a master's in September. They've been volunteering for a year, and they're interested in Active 18, which is a great project.
Thanks. And just to say, and I'll tell you a little bit, just for those of you who are completely new, Active 18 is a project we do with disabled adults, and we provide kind of social activities and volunteering opportunities for our disabled adults. And as we are going out of, well, as we are going into new territory, everything we do is, of course, bound by COVID regulations. So Active 18 might start meeting in the real world, but they also do stuff remotely.
Mm-hmm. We also have Jan. They're going into their 3rd year of Applied Medical Sciences. They volunteered with Buddied Reading Project for the past year, and they're interested in finding out about other leadership opportunities. Sean is a final year student of English and Media. They're from Malaysia, and they've done 1 volunteering activity. Oh, my chat is moving because everybody's so excited about putting stuff in here. So they've done 1 volunteering activity by taking pictures at university before, but that was a while ago, and they'd love to follow along and know about what they can do or what things they can do to help. Sam's graduating this year from criminology and psychology, volunteering in weekly video calls for the last year with someone who wouldn't otherwise have much contact. They'd love to see what projects are available and what's involved. And oh wow, so many people, we're so excited today. So Danielle is studying psychology. They volunteered with Building Blocks Lego Club. They're looking to find out more about other opportunities. Georgia they're apologizing. Their internet's not great. I understand. Mine's been my camera wasn't working earlier today either. They volunteered once at the local zoo. They're currently studying criminology and psychology. They're going to third year, and they're looking to sort of discover and learn what they can do to help and get involved. Katarina has finished their first year of business management. They're new to Discovery. They've recently attended a volunteering training, and they came to see what leadership opportunities there are in Discovery. Faiza, apologies if I didn't get that correct. You're going into your final year of law. They've not volunteered before. They're very interested, excited to know more about it. And Sharon has a master's in public health, which is my master's, and they're finishing in December, and they've never done volunteering before, but they'd love to know more about leadership and volunteering. So you're all in the right session for this, because you all sound super excited, and we definitely have lots of opportunities.
Brilliant, thanks Felicity. We've also got Carol, who is also a master's student, and she is doing healthcare management, and she's not volunteered before. And one of the things we want to make really clear in Discovery is you don't have to have volunteered with us before to step into some of our leadership. Sometimes what happens is people literally do their Start Here training. So Start Here is what all our volunteers have to do. It's our volunteer introduction program. It's literally a training session and a little interview with myself or some of the other student leaders. And then it might be in that interview, somebody might say, oh, I want to develop leadership skills. And before you know it, we say, why don't you become a project coordinator? Or why don't you become a Discovery ambassador? So on average, at least, we normally have around 25 project coordinators, and at least a third of those every year are brand new to Discovery. They've never volunteered. They might not have, like some of you guys have never volunteered before, but we really encourage anyone to step into leadership roles. You'll be completely supported. And it doesn't matter if you volunteered for 2-3 years with us, or if you've never volunteered with us or anyone else before. It's all about giving it a go and being supported, if that makes sense to people. Oh, yeah, and we got another one. So I think that's everybody. Fantastic. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. So what I wondered is, you know, we use this word leadership, and people in their volunteer interviews say to me, I want to gain leadership. But I think, what do you think are the characteristics of leadership, and what do you think is leadership? Is anybody willing to kind of put any thoughts about what are the characteristics of leaders? What is leadership? Which sounds like a very big philosophical question that we could be here for hours about. But, you know, what do you think are the characteristics of leadership?
Hi, can I talk?
Yeah,
Good afternoon.
good.
Okay, so I feel that leadership is a process where an individual influences a group of people or fellow individuals also to achieve a common goal.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I think that's really good. It's about that common goal and kind of influencing people. So that is a great kind of some of the characteristics. Somebody else has put, and I like this, open to criticism, that they have motivation and confidence. Somebody else, Sean, has put that it's important to care and serve as a leader. It can be hard work. And what I would say is one of the things, particularly because you guys want to learn how to be leaders while making a difference to people in Swansea. I think the fact that you've even thought about that all demonstrates you've already got that skill of wanting to care, and that you're all motivated to be here. So, you know, for you guys, you've already started to get some of those characteristics. So we all think, you know, when people say, oh, step into that leadership role, for a lot of people, we all go, oh, I can't be a leader. But lots of you are motivated to be here. You care enough to be here. You want to achieve goals. You want to have, you know, all these things that people are talking about. This is what lots of you have got already. So I think that very much is how Discovery views leadership, is basically anybody can be a leader, anyone can learn it. But what we do in Discovery is support you and guide you and give you, hopefully some of the guys who've been leaders with us have said they've had training and stuff to be supported in how to learn how to do some of that stuff, because anyone can be a leader, anyone can step into those leadership roles, and it is skills that you can use. Is there anything else that people think? Felicity and Kaya, leaders are individuals who are the backbone of a group. I like that. People that others can rely on facing difficulties, people who can be calm under stressful conditions. The two of you who have already been leaders for Discovery, have you got any kind of ideas of what you think leadership is, especially after doing a leadership role for a year?
I would say delegation is definitely a part of a leadership role. You can't just be kind of like controlling absolutely everything. And so it's important to really consider the fact that as a leader, you're part of a team and you have other people there and you're working together. And also sort of to be inspiring and encouraging, because people aren't going to want to be involved and engaged unless, you know, they can see you being involved and engaged and really passionate about it. So that sort of passion can rub off and inspire other people.
Cool. Anybody else got anything else to add? Brilliant. So one of this is so what I wanted to do now was just put in and spend it's a couple of minutes just to look at this TED talk. It's a really nice TED talk that is about leadership and what are the leadership conditions. Now, normally I would just play it if we were in a room on the big screen. We're not. So if everybody can just log on to that and just watch it for a couple of minutes, and then once you've finished watching it, just put a little thumbs up so that I can see that you've watched it on your screen. It's just from a accessibility point of view, it helps if you just watch it on your own, because some of you have an internet connections and it would just not be great from a sound point of view. So I just thought it'd be really nice if you all kind of watch that little video about what is leadership, or what this TED talk about being a leader. And as I said, just put the thumbs up icon to show that you've watched it, or just say in the chat, finished watching it. Brilliant. So I think I've seen most people put a thumbs up so that you've all seen that. So I think what that kind of shows is very much the philosophy of leadership in discovery, is that we can all be a leader, and that we can all be in those roles and stuff. And you know, when you think about, particularly for those of you who are thinking about going in and, you know, sitting down for interviews, or when you're going for jobs and stuff, to say, oh, I've got leadership skills, and to say, oh, I have been a leader, is really hard. And I was just thinking about, while that was playing, I was thinking for myself personally, what, you know, my lollipop moment. And for me, one of my lollipop moments has been, and it sounds really strange, like I used to volunteer with a running group, and I used to go running every week and stuff. Now, I would never say that I am a massive runner. I'm not the fastest human. I do it for enjoyment. So I would never call myself a running leader. I would never say that, you know, when somebody said you're a running leader, for me, if you say a running leader, that's somebody who is super, super fast and stuff. That's not how I run. I run for enjoyment. But when I was pregnant, I carried on running. And actually, for me, one of my lollipop moments was when I used to help out with the group, and I'd help with the people who were learning the 5K. And a few of the women who I ran with said, do you know, Sian, it's been brilliant running with you, because, you know, you were running at 30 weeks pregnant, and I'd make myself come at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, because I'd be like, God, if Sian can run 5K and she's 30 weeks pregnant, then I definitely can do it. And I've done it, thought, hang on, you know, all these people going, you've been such a great leader, Sian. You've been really motivating us. And, you know, I was 30 weeks pregnant. It was taking me like 45 minutes to run 5K. So I didn't feel like I was running the fastest, but it was really nice that suddenly these people, you know, I would never call myself a running leader, but because I was there motivating and supporting people, that was my lollipop moment. I don't know if anyone else has had a lollipop moment, but it's just kind of nice to reflect on. Has anyone else had a lollipop moment? Put a thumbs up if you've had one. If you've had that moment when you suddenly go, oh, that's really nice. Somebody's kind of said I've motivated them. Has anyone had one of those?
I mean, I guess the closest I would have is, you know, when people come and ask for references and things like that, and, you know, say about how the volunteering that they've done has really helped them in regards to their CV and their plans for the future, but also being able to support and signpost people. So one of the things that I do with Wellbeing Champions is I try to keep in mind the subjects that people are doing, so what their interests might be. And so, like, if New Pathways are running events locally or things like that, or there's additional training, I will share that in our Discord or in our Facebook group, because, you know, it's that kind of keeping other people in mind, but also providing additional opportunities and seeing people grow and sort of, it's, I think the best way of saying is like a caterpillar to a butterfly. People sometimes come along, they're a wee bit nervous, and at the end, they're sort of like, ta-da! And they're just really, you know, blossoming.
Thanks, Felicity. That's really. So what I thought I'd go on to, so that, and that's one of the things we want you to kind of think about with discovery, is you have all got the potential to be this leader. We've all had those lollipop moments, and want you to kind of take that forward into thinking about, there are then what we would call leadership opportunities in discovery, where you kind of say, oh, I'm going to put myself forward to be a leader. I'm going to not just be a leader in the team, I'm actually going to be the person who's the project coordinator. I'm going to be the person who helps run the charity. I'm going to be the person who goes out and says, I'm going to help represent discovery at different events. These are the leadership roles, the defined leadership roles that we ask student volunteers to apply for in discovery. So we've got the Discovery Ambassadors. They're a group of students who work with me. They do lots of stuff around kind of recruiting volunteers. They do lots of stuff about going and talking in lectures or in kind of webinars like this about what it is to volunteer. They might be on kind of their public face of discovery, as it were. We're a student-led charity, and it's great to have those students talking about their volunteer experiences. And they also support the marketing and creating all the digital and social media content. with that role, it's very ad hoc. You can dip in and out, and there's training given. And if you, for example, are a master's student that's staying on until December or something like that, then you could do that role until December. And then we've got the project coordinator roles. So the project coordinator roles are the ones that we're recruiting now for, and that's the one that the three guys are going to talk about today primarily. And they are basically the project coordinators help run our projects. We have 22, 23 different projects, volunteer projects that Discovery will be running next year. And all of our projects are led by students. That's something we're really proud of in Discovery. They are all student coordinated. They work with Rebecca and our colleague Meg, who is starting in September, but they are, you know, and the project coordinators, it is a regular weekly commitment. But there's lots of training given, and I will let the guys talk a little bit more about the roles and how they found it in a minute. And then the other role that we have that is in Discovery, all charities in the UK have to have a trustee board, and the trustee boards are the people that kind of have the general responsibility for Discovery and have the strategic kind of view of how the charity is run. It's a fantastic thing to turn around, you know, as a young person and go into interviews and say, I've helped run a charity. It's a fantastic experience. You do lots of stuff around human resources, finances, budgets. You end up basically being mine and Rebecca's boss in a strange way and stuff like that. But you do that, again, is ad hoc and you can dip in and out, but you must attend the trustee board meetings. But to make these a little bit more live, what I thought was hear it directly from other people's experience, is for three of our project coordinators to talk a little bit about what is a project coordinator, what do they do in the role, hopefully what they've enjoyed out of it, what have they gained, and, you know, what's been some of their favorite moments, but also if there's any questions that any of you guys have for them, then ask away in the chat box. So I don't know if I want to start with Felicity. You knew I was going to go with you first, so is that all right if you go first?
Yes, so as I said, I'm the project coordinator for Wellbeing Champions. We're kind of the sister project Connect, so you'll hear about that one next. We're very similar, but also very different. So we're group-based and we do group-based events. So this year it's been online. It's been a real challenge this year with COVID and changing how we went about working. And I think that's one of the real benefits of being a project coordinator in Discovery, is that we have weekly check-ins. So there's always someone to talk to and to sort of think things through and plan ahead about what you're going to do, or if you have any questions or queries that you can sort of brainstorm with. So there's definitely an awful lot of support. The training is great. There's a lot of training and there's additional training, and there's a wide range. So like if you want to do county lines training or you want to do safeguarding, specifically for Wellbeing Champions, we do things like safeguarding and look after your mate and wellbeing related training. But as a project coordinator, my workload is generally sort of the one event a week, which would be 1 hour. I generally sometimes have drop-ins for the volunteers. That's about an hour that I dedicate. And I also have the 1 hour that I give for our office hour, which is once a week to check in with Discovery and sort of talk things through. So it's about 3 hours a week, give or take a little bits on the side and other areas. I mean, it depends on how much you want to put into it. I have that drop-in hour that I occasionally have, which is a plus that I just put in. So it's technically 2 hours. But again, it depends on the project. It depends, because some of them are not as frequent as Wellbeing Champions. But I really love it. And it's great to get to see people weekly and also to form those relationships, especially during lockdown, because we've all been inside. So it's been nice to have a sort of a set schedule and things to look forward to. And Wellbeing Champions, it's brilliant. I will confess my bias here, but it's not the best project, but it's a really good project. It would be up there. So Keone?
Okay, so firstly, I'd just like to apologize because you can probably hear my washing machine in the background. But I'm just going to give you a quick whistle-stop tour of what my project is, so you can get a better understanding of what I actually do on it. So as I said earlier, I'm a project coordinator and volunteer for the Project Connect, which Felicity kind of touched upon. So Connect is basically a well-being service for people who are experiencing low mental health. And what we do, we offer like a one-on-one type service to try to, better signpost people to get the support they need and to raise it with the correct people if the issues, needs raising with the correct people. So for me personally, our project is between two universities. So it's between Swansea University, which I'm currently at, and University of South Wales. So as you can imagine, that adds a lot more depth to the project as a project coordinator, because as well as managing your own project and within your university, you have to communicate with other people from, other universities to ultimately help people. And yeah, so that's basically what Connect is. And I know that can sound quite intimidating, especially how, Connect is a big project. So for me, we have currently over 50 students volunteering with us. And we split that out between other project coordinators too. So you end up with between 20 to 30 people per person. So I know that seems really daunting, but Discovery especially, they offer a lot of support and you get a lot of training beforehand. So you get training for a volunteer to become a volunteer, you get training to become a project coordinator, and then on top of that, you get separate Connect training. So you'll basically be like trained out to the full throughout the whole thing. And as well as that, there is opportunities to get further training. So for example, there's something called autism buddies. So you can get further training for that. You can get training for mental health first aid, which is like a day thing. And there's basically so much more opportunities to go on. And then on top of that, support-wise, so you'll have weekly meetings. They're called office hours, which would be about an hour with a member of Discovery. And from then you can raise any queries, do all your work that you need to, all that kind of stuff. So support-wise, you're fully supported. So I know it may seem daunting and you may think, oh, maybe I'm not fully prepared to go into it, but that's what the training is for. Like, you don't have to be perfect to go into it to ultimately help people. And yeah, so what have I enjoyed about it personally? I know I can go on quite a bit about Connect, but I quite enjoy it, to be honest. So I know what I enjoy personally. I would put it down to two reasons. So one reason is like the altruistic reason, because at the end of the day, you're volunteering your time. And as students, I know it may seem quite daunting at times or quite busy at times, but we do have quite a lot of free time. So you're actually donating your time to have an actual positive effect on other people, which, I find that really rewarding. And then on top of that, it's just how many people you get to meet and like how much your like bubble expands. So like I said, it's between two universities. You meet loads of people in Discovery, volunteers and other project coordinators. And some of my closest friends at university has come through being at Discovery. And even after they've graduated, we still talk pretty much daily and stuff. So genuinely, that's something else that I find really rewarding, because you just meet people that's not necessarily on your course, or you just meet people that you wouldn't meet day to day at university. And so basically what I would say to anyone who's, is like a bit unsure if they want to apply to be a project coordinator, or, just feel a bit unsure, I'd say just do it. Like, push your boss out, go out of your comfort zone, and I guarantee you'll enjoy it, basically. So yeah, that's all for me.
Do you want to say a little bit about being a PC for Active 18 and what Active 18 is? Because we have some people who are completely new to Discovery.
Yeah. So I do all of the leadership roles, but PCing is definitely the most hands-on, which I really like. But it's also the most time-consuming. But again, it depends on the project. So I'm PC for Active 18, and Active 18 is probably one of the bigger projects, and it works with the supported volunteers and adults with additional needs. So we do sort of social activities, skill building activities, sort of like fitness sessions and wellbeing activities. And usually before COVID, so before I was a PC, it ran once a month. And we'd do sort of an activity once a month, or we'd do sessions, so maybe we'd have a fitness session every week for 4 weeks. But when I became a PC, it was during COVID and we had to start running the sessions on Zoom. So it was a lot more planning because it meant that I had to plan so I decided we were going to do one Zoom session a week plus a YouTube video skill builder every week, which was, in hindsight, was probably too many sessions and took way too many hours of planning. But it also meant we had to buy resources and send them out and stuff like that. So I think my project was definitely one of the most time consuming, but it's the same structure. So I had the training. My project works with Kirsty, one of the staff members. So I had that support as well. And it was just, yeah, it was a lot. Like I had my office hour on Friday, which was really helpful. But then I also did a couple of extra hours a week planning and resources and letters and stuff. So yeah, definitely the most hands-on, but also probably the most rewarding because I got to do the sessions with the adults and a lot of them are my friends as well. So we got to do really fun stuff. And one of the things we actually did, which I'm playing with at the moment, is we made slime. So it is all really fun stuff, and it's really rewarding. Like we get messages from parents and carers being like, if this person didn't come to your session on a Monday once a week, they wouldn't have spoken to anyone all year. Like they can't leave the house, they don't see anyone else, and they just spend a week really looking forward to the sessions, and it really cheers them up. And a lot of the service users in the session say, oh, if it wasn't for these sessions, I don't know what I would have done over lockdown and stuff. So it's really rewarding to hear, and it also gives really good skills because like I think especially like from my PC role this year, I've learned to set boundaries and say no to people, which is a massive struggle I've always had. And yeah, sort of in terms of planning, things have gone wrong, which before I wouldn't have coped with, but now I'm a lot more adaptable to change and last minute everything going wrong, and also knowing to make a backup plan. So yeah, it's really helped me, like not just like the CV stuff, but like personal skills as well, and really helped me develop those sort of skills, and also communication and things like that. So yeah, PCN is really fun, but also work, but also like discovery is really good in that if you say, oh, you know, I've got loads, I'm really busy and I can't do it, and discovery will be like, well, you're not doing it then because you need to focus on your degree. And that they're really good knowing that, like, not to let you do too much, which I always do, but yeah, I think PCN's definitely, if you want to work sort of face to face with service users and also like the volunteers, it's definitely the most like rewarding in that sense.
Thanks, guys. I kind of wanted to open up to those of you who are maybe thinking of becoming a leader or becoming one of the roles. We've got 3 people who have done it. A couple of them have done multiple different roles. Have any of you got any questions? And this is, you know, your real chance. There's no silly questions at the moment. So anything that you think, oh, I just would like to know that, because if you're thinking I'd like to know that, I can guarantee there's somebody else on this Zoom who are also thinking I would like to know that.
This is awkward.
So it's waiting in that chat box, isn't it? There's always a lag. It's really horrible as a trainer having that lag on the chat box. I'm going to ask you a question, guys. What's been your favourite discovery moment? If you think about, you know, because you've all, you know, you've done lots of great stuff volunteering, but what's been your favourite moment? And kind of as a project coordinator, what was the thing you think, that's one of my favourite moments, that's what I've really enjoyed about it? Who wants to go first?
I quite liked Ben's bar and the virtual sofa, which gave us opportunities to advertise our projects. But Ben's bar was one of the things that was involved for support. And so there are things that are happening for project coordinators that are specifically for project coordinators to get to know each other and chat. And I think those have been some of the best moments, I think, just getting to know everybody else and have a bit of a casual session.
Cool. So Ben's bar is we would do sort of particularly because normally you guys, if we were in the office, you'd be able to meet and communicate and have socials and stuff. So it was a social. So we would do bar sessions where you guys, I think, learned how to juggle, and you did quizzes, and you did escape rooms and all kinds of stuff, and kind of just did all that sort of things, stuff like that. How about Emma and stuff? What's been some of your favourite things about being a PC?
So I need to remember what's PC stuff was, because I was about to say the escape rooms, and I realised that as an ambassador social. PC stuff, I think the best thing was getting the feedback from the support workers and seeing like the support workers not the support workers, the service users develop. Like I've got one service user, and when I met her at the start of the year, she wouldn't talk to me and she wouldn't talk to anyone. She wasn't really engaging, she was very shy. And now she comes every week and we can't get her to stop talking, and she's just like, she asks everyone how they are, and she's really really engaged, and she loves doing the activities, to the point where if she has to miss a week, she gets really upset and we have to send her pictures of what we've done, because she's really interested in what we've been doing and stuff. And she's just so engaged. And yeah, you can see like we've had messages from her parents and stuff being like, this has literally got her through lockdown. If she wasn't doing this and looking forward to doing this, then like she'd have probably like not been in a very good place at all. So yeah, like the response from service users, but also like seeing them develop and seeing them gain skills and stuff is really rewarding.
How about yourself as PC?
So for me, I would say so there's quite a well-being issue, and then so we managed to sort that out and basically help the student afterwards. And it was something where you could really see the effects of your work, like the fruit of your labor, if you will. And you could see that you're actually making a positive impact on people, and like what you're doing, like it's actually directly impacting people. And I thought that was one of the, I'd say in a weird way, one of the like best moments of being at Connect and being a project coordinator, because it was just like the kind of realization of like these are real people that you are having a real effect on. Like sometimes it can be a bit like you can just kind of forget like and just get into the swing of things, and then yeah, it just kind of like I used that as motivation. It just kind of hit me like, oh, like wow, like yeah, you're actually doing something that's well worth it. And then apart from that, so there's been stuff like there's some of the socials people mentioned. So there's like Discovery often offers socials to like reward you, as you will, for all your hard work and things. And there's this comedy night, and there's quite a lot of comedians there, like James A. Caster, if I remember. And yeah, I thought that was really good, because especially during the past year, to manage to have like a whole comedy night, like but just virtually with like big time like comedians, I thought that was really good, and I really enjoyed that, truthfully. So yeah.
Cool. No, that's nice to hear, because I think one of the things we're very keen on in Discovery is making sure it's also about having fun and being social and stuff. It's not, it's about making a difference, but also making that connection and stuff like that.
Basically, all my friends from uni are from Discovery.
Yeah, that's what a couple of you have said, is that it's really kind of widened and kind of put you in touch with people that you wouldn't know and stuff like that. What would you say to anyone who was thinking of running as a project coordinator? Or thinking, oh, I would like to try this role, or maybe you think, oh, I'm not sure I've got the skills, or I'm a bit worried about it. What would you guys say?
I'd say just do it or try it, but like research, look at the projects first and pick something that you're interested in, because it is a lot of work, and you don't want, you want to like be doing something you enjoy. You don't want to have to spend 4 or 5 hours a week planning activities that you're not like passionate about. But also like it becomes like a little family, sort of like you and your volunteers and your service users. Like I remember like last month, one of my volunteers got volunteer of the month, volunteer of the semester for one of their other projects that they volunteer on, and I was like, oh, like I'm so proud of you. I get like quite motherly to them, and I'm like, my child, you did so well. So yeah, it is like a little family. And yeah, like I literally became a project coordinator because Vixie messaged me and she was like, do you want to be a project coordinator for Active 18? Because I volunteered on it 2 years before, for the 2 years before, and I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know what that is or what I have to do. And then I went to training and literally just like learned everything. So I literally didn't even know what I signed up for. And I was like, I can't talk to people, I can't answer the phone, I've got all these additional needs, I don't think I'm gonna be very good. But then it turned out being one of like the really successful projects, and it was really fun and stuff. So definitely just, yeah. And if you think that you don't have a lot of time, then it's very much that like you just do things when you're free, and like there isn't a set time to do things. You just make up. That's the good thing about being the project coordinator, is that you're in charge. So you set when meetings are, you set how often you do sessions and when they are and things, and like you get to pick when you do your risk assessments and things. Like you just do it when you're free. There isn't like a set, like you get to choose everything. And if you're doing too much, then you can just message and say, sorry, I'm busy, and then that's fine as well.
What about the other two?
Really just relaying what Emma said. Just, you know, if you feel like it's a bit outside your comfort zone, definitely do it, and it'll definitely pay off. So yeah, that's pretty much the same. Just go for it pretty much.
Yeah, there's all the support and training there. So even if you're feeling a bit nervous about it and you maybe think you haven't got the experience, you will be given the experience and the training and everything that you need and all the tools plus the support. So it goes back to this idea of it being a family. It really is. And there's always someone there to give you a hand or brainstorm or answer any of your questions. So it's not like you're jumping in at the deep end on your own. Definitely lots of support.
Cool. Thank you, guys. If anyone else has got any other questions, do put them in the chat box now. But one of the things I thought just to quickly let you all know is there is a process for applying for each of the roles. So I'll pull up the slide of the different roles. So at the moment, it always helps if I share my screen. You think by now I would have learned technology, but no. So with the different roles, there are different ways of applying. So if you, for example, want to become a Discovery Ambassador and stuff, then you just drop Discovery an email and say, I'd like to become a Discovery Ambassador, and you just fill in an application form. The project coordinators, it's a similar process. We'll send you a little handbook saying a little bit more about the different projects. And we've got and then you have to apply by the 10th of September. So in the handbook, it does say by the 31st of August, but you actually have to apply by the 10th of September. But if you feel really inspired, we can send you the handbook and the application form straight after this, and then you can apply today or tomorrow. What will then happen is that Rebecca will then get in touch with you and just have a chat. And the reason why we have a chat with you is just to talk about a bit of what some of the guys have said, is to talk about what you're interested in. We want to make sure that you have a project, you are a project coordinator for a project that you enjoy and that you will kind of get that enjoyment out of. So we've got 22 different projects running next year. We would have, for example, I'll run through quick numbers of the projects. We've got Active 18, which is our project working with disabled adults. We've got East, which is our homework club. We've got Surfability, which is teaching young people how to surf, disabled adults and young people how to surf out of Caswell. We've got Connect, which the two guys have spoken quite a lot about. Connect. We have got, I've got to remember all the projects off the top of my head. We've got COP project, so that's our police project, is coming back for this year, we hope, fingers crossed. We've got the Egypt Centre, which is helping people kind of learn about the Egypt Centre on campus, doing school trips. We've got Buddied Reading, which is helping with people's literacy. We've got the Inspire project, which is helping kind of inspire young people to get involved in activities. We've then also got Gadget Explorers, which is helping people do kind of get into technology. Then we've got a project called Hopefully, and all projects are subject to, it might all change by September, October because of COVID. COVID governs everything these days, unfortunately. But we've got the Musical Memories Choir, which is helping a choir with helping a choir that supports people with dementia and their carers. So it's all about people with dementia making friends through singing and their carers having that place. Then I think, I can't, any of the other projects that others can remember? We've got 22 projects, and that definitely was
The vet.
yeah, the Vetch is our community garden, which we go down every Wednesday, and that's a great project. They have a pizza oven. You can make pizzas and help people grow vegetables and things. So there's lots of different things you can get involved in. You can do stuff with older adults. You can do stuff with disabled adults. You could do stuff with students. You could also then do stuff with the local community and do things with children. So kind of have a think about things like that. And a couple of you have been asking about multiple PCs. There are a few of our projects that have a couple of co-coordinators, and I think two of the guys who were PCs this year, you both had co-coordinators. So on some of the projects, if you say, oh, me and my friend want to run this project together, then that's fine as well. So that's the project coordinators. Then for trustees, you will apply for being a trustee. We recruit for those in October, November, and the year runs from January to December. So you would help run the charity, have strategic oversight, and what you have to do is just stand and say you want to be a trustee. So that's it, really. Is there any other questions that we have? So if you are thinking about wanting to be in any of those roles, or if you want to know more, this is what you need to do next. You can either drop me an email, that's the email address, and just say, Sian, I'd like to know a little bit more. Can you have a chat with me? There's a couple of us who, and I'll put the email in the chat as well. Just drop us an email and say, Sian, I'd really like to have a bit more of a chat with you about the role. If you don't want to chat to me as a staff member, but you say, actually, I'd quite like to talk to Emma a little bit more about how she found the project, then I'm volunteering the guys, but I'm sure they'd be up for having those chats with you and stuff. But so you're very welcome. And the other person is Rebecca, who's having technology issues at the moment, bless her. Rebecca also is our volunteer projects is our volunteering projects manager. Get it right, Sian, it's hot and I'm not drinking enough, obviously. So you can have a chat with her about anyone about any of the projects and stuff like that. And if you just want to know more, that's what we're here for. But I hope you all have had a bit more of an idea about the roles and stuff. And is there anybody willing to say that they're thinking of maybe going for a role? Put a thumbs up if you think maybe you might apply. Have we inspired a couple of you? You don't have to. Oh, yay! That's brilliant. There's quite a few of them have been inspired. Phew! I always worry when I say that, because I really worry. I'm like, oh my God, what happens if no one puts their thumb up? I'll be like, oh no. Yeah, so hopefully, and even if you don't want to apply for the leadership role, do get involved in discovery. As I said, quite exciting next year, because we're going to have about 22, 23 projects running. We are hoping, fingers crossed, we can start doing some in-person volunteering. There's going to be lots of wonderful opportunities. There's a few things you can get involved in over the summer. And then for those of you who are completely new to discovery, I will also send an email after this saying how to apply to go through the volunteer process, and then how to apply for those different roles. So I'll send an email with a link to the recording of this as well, so that you have that and stuff. So yeah, so welcome to Discovery, happy volunteering. And I'm going to hand it over to the student leaders. We are student led, so as much as I always like to have the final word, I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Anything final you'd like to say to the guys at the end of the session?
Stay cool.
No, so I was going to say, yeah, if you have any questions or anything, definitely feel free to, just email Discovery, and, our names are here if you want to speak to any of us specifically. So just drop any of our names, and I'm sure we're all willing to talk. And yeah, hopefully it'll be nice to see you next year as a PC, at least some of you, yeah.
Yeah, basically what they all said. I'm just going to nod along and agree. Everything they've said has covered anything I would have said. So yeah.
So thank you for coming. I'm going to do that awkward Zoom wave, which you all do at the end of a Zoom. You would never do in real life, going out of room.
I wave in real life.
So I'll do the awkward Zoom wave. But thanks for coming, guys, and really nice to meet you all. Thank you.